Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The hour being 5:30, I will now call the Public Works and Service Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, August 27, 2024. Commissioner Rooney, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Alder Jones.
Present.
Alder Jarrett.
Present.
Alder Escada is not here, but we'll leave the roll open for her. Alder Mack. Present. Alder Perez.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes from August 14th.
Second.
Thank you. There's been motion and second to approve the minutes from August 14th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our first item on the agenda is 0732-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Amy Hooper of Racine County Veterans Service requesting to utilize the Festival Hall, Library, and Civic Center parking area on October 12th, 2024 for the stand down event from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Move to approve. Second.
I was going to say staff recommendation to approve the county service. We have Mr. Sean, Rivers to speak on the item this afternoon.
And I know your time is valuable, and I know we don't want to get onto the pressing matters, but I appreciate giving me a moment. And I saw Alden Jerry looking through the a little booklet there. So just real quick, our stand down. So I appreciate the very rapid approval and second motion to approve. Every year we hold our veteran stand down, and by the way, you have new contractors, 5K events. I don't know if that was anything to do with this board or getting this committee to get that rolling, but 5K Events is doing a phenomenal job over there at Festival and Memorial Hall. All the improvements they've made and the corrections that they've done to the facility, and working with outside agencies to make things happen. So we're working every year to do this stand down event. I can see you're looking for a passport book as well. And the event is intended to bring in not just our homeless and needy veterans. That's what a stand down really steps out to do. It's a time for us to stand down from our noble everyday events and step forward and look forward to helping and assisting veterans that are facing homelessness, neediness, but we go even a step further and say all veterans, we want everybody, and even civilians, non-veterans, to come to the event. There's certain things at the event that are veteran specific, and that will not be there's, for instance, cold weather gear bag that is given to every single veteran that comes through there. We get military gear through DoD channels that we get do requisitions for, and gets held onto over there at the Tiny Homes Veterans Outreach Wisconsin, which you're probably familiar with as well. We partner with them every year for this event. So we give them that gear and give them meals and make sure everybody's fed and happy when they leave. And we had last year 75 vendors, about 250 veterans. So all said, we had about 500 people in Festival Halls. That's why we asked for this parking. We want to make sure it's well presented when we advertise the event this year. Park anywhere in the parking lots and you'll have no problem. Don't get a feed a meter. And as you know, now it's all barcoded. And I've got a lot of more senior veterans, no offense, but no offense to the boomer adjacent and older like myself, that might not be able to pull that off with the QR codes, getting the payment done at that point. So again, I appreciate anybody have any questions about the intent of the stand down or what this is all about.
That's what I was going to ask. Does staff have any questions for Mr. Rivers?
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Excuse me, Commissioner Rooney.
Not elected. So I believe will be for use of Lot 4, which is directly south of Civic Center, use of Lakefront Lot number 5, which is south of Lower Clark Fountain, the Memorial Hall Library, East Memorial Hall, and the library. So there'll be 4 lots that will be open and no charges on that.
Not including the boat ramps, or not that side of the beach,
The
but
boat
everything.
launch ramp is for parking for vehicles with boats and trailers only.
Although
So
it's
those 4 surface slots will be the ones that we'll put in because the ramp is rented to renters at the Johnson Building and other places.
So to tell people,
Yeah.
it's just mark there too. I'll make sure to tell people don't park.
We'll work with ADM and food services. Both offer course service.
Thank you, Mr. Rivers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me be here tonight.
Seeing how no questions, a motion is in the room. Okay.
Oh, it was already-
We already did it. We just need to vote.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item, 068004, communication sponsored by Chair on behalf of Kelly Cruz. Racine Downtown Corporation requesting temporary Racine place making on Sixth Street, storytelling and rotary park installation.
Move to approve. Second.
Is the motion to second to approve the item? We have, Kelly Cruz to speak on the item.
Yes, so Sixth Street has been going through this sort of a renaissance. Quite a few different businesses have been opening on this. Normally, it's still certainly part of our downtown, but it just this is the year to do it. And we have been so kindly afforded this opportunity through WBPC's Main Street program because we are a volunteer status, so we work really hard. Yes, they're investing quite a bit of money into this. We're working with a company called All Together Now, who has worked with major cities on a temporary placemaking, which is who we have on the call today, Christian there. And this is gonna really just highlight downtown Racine. It happens to fall about a week before Party of the Pavement. So the installation will happen during a WEDC Main Street workshop. So we've got directors from all over the state coming to downtown Racine for a training session, and we would actually be doing these installations. All of the images that you see there still fit with the downtown Racine branding in general, like completely with our branding guidelines. And in, the whole point of the fact that on Sixth Street, you'll see those empty sidewalk blocks have been empty for a reason, right? We always wanted to utilize those, but we didn't want the huge commitment of putting something in every other sidewalk block without seeing how people react to them. So this is a perfect scenario where we're going to be putting something on 15 of those sidewalk blocks that is temporary. If people don't like it, we can gauge the feedback that we get. The backside of the wayfinding signs were left blank for a reason by council, and so we'll be utilizing the backside of those pedestrian wayfinding signs throughout Sixth Street, and then Rotary. So it's called Rotary Park or Paul Harris Park. I get really confused by that.
I was gonna make that clarification, Elder Jones, in the communication, it should have read Paul Harris.
Paul Harris Plaza.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a little
the
pocket
park
park.
on the opposite side of the road.
Yes, and it's really underutilized, and it's the cutest park, and they just got the clock fixed, and they're actually working with Rotary, and they're gonna be doing some landscaping, much needed landscaping because of the idea of this. And we're gonna be doing a really cool tree installation that Tom Molbeck has said that he would be approved, and it does not harm the trees at all. But again, this is all to just bring a sense of place to Sixth Street, a sense of belonging, and to highlight this really cool area that we have that I think is sometimes people come downtown and they go on Main Street and they don't make the turn on to Sixth Street, and I think we just really want to bring awareness to that. So, maybe these end up being, maybe these give us some good ideas for more permanent identification and branding in that district, but this allows us to temporarily see how does the public perceive this. And any questions that have about like what materials they use and how they've done it in other communities, I'm gonna definitely give it off to Christian.
Yes, so,
Excuse me, one moment, please. Alderman Mackey?
This looks like a great idea. The staff has approved it. There's a motion and a second on the floor. It's a temporary exhibit. I see no reason why we just can't go ahead and approve it. And I like the idea that you're thinking about making it permanent.
Well, yeah, so Alderman Garrison wanted to do a presentation, was it okay with them to just approve, or did you guys want to, since you probably practice, did you want to still do the presentation, or you fine with us approving as is?
Yeah, I mean, if you all want to approve it as is, that's fine. We're happy to answer questions about the materials of the decals. If you'd like more information on that, we do have that presentation with it. But if you all feel like it can move forward, then that works for us as well, of course. And we're happy to also just send out that presentation if it's easier for folks to review it that way.
Commissioner Lee said there were some stipulations.
Yeah, just a few comments. Again, if you want altogether not a comment on what you have in front of you, they certainly can. Just FYI, I am on DRC Board of Directors. I'm the city appointee to it. I'm also on the executive board for DRC. So I've been working with Kelly and altogether now on this for the last few months. So I think it's really got some great opportunities to do something temporary, showcase something, get some really good feedback. It's already on the pavement. A lot of folks, they don't like it. They'll let you know if they like it. Then maybe change some permanency. So I think there's some really neat things that we've probably seen there. But there are some stipulations that both Public Works, the city, and Parks want to make sure that any overtime costs supposed to be incurred by the city department is trying to sponsor. Don't foresee that. Sponsor shall notify by the property owners 72 hours in advance of the work that they're doing, so they know what's going on out there. If they have to submit a temporary traffic control plan for any reason, they have to stop the equipment out there. I doubt that's going to be needed, but this is more boilerplate. Provide any detours. Yeah. The wrong stipulation package in here. I'm sorry, I do. I hope they're going to need a whole harmless agreement. Recognize I already started reading it. That was correct. And there's a $75 processing fee needs to be paid for that. Liability insurance certificate should be filed prior. They're going to be doing work on the public right of way, fixing things, city property that we're responsible for. So if there's anything that happens, the city to be liable to hold us harmless. Make sure they have insurance to cover those things. We'd like to know if they have a start date. If they'd like to start, we could establish that. We'd like to have an end date as when these temporary items will be removed. We don't want them to sit there for months or a half a year and become weather enforced. So I don't know if Kelly can commit to that date. The method of the attachments to the trees that are in Paul Harris Plaza that you saw in Tom Mobile wants to make sure that those are approved by the city forester. So I think he's got the city forester working with this group. And that any damage to anything, whether it's trees, park amenities, city sidewalks, cabinets, or purposes, are the responsibility of the Downtown City Corporation.
Ms. Cruz, you will find these stipulations.
Yes, I can get hold of that to you by middle of next week. As far as end dates go, I work with Altogether Now, and talking through these end dates, it's interesting because of the weather can make a big difference, right? So they're committed to, and the DRC is committed to taking these items down when the minute we see them weathered, but we'd also hate to take them down 8 weeks when they're still looking great. So I don't know how the committee would want to handle that, but I certainly want to enjoy it as long as we can. But if the committee wants, a certain date, but they have said they have done like the sidewalk things for a while, and the backside of the wayfinding could stay up for much longer because it's all under plexiglass and it's really not dated in any way. The tree as well, again, it'll have to do with wind and weather that happens in the next couple of months. I can say that we are committed to the minute we see it looking dated or weathered, we will remove it, but I don't know how the committee would want to handle that.
If I might offer one, Madam Chair, maybe we could also monitor it. Maybe we could have the stipulations that it be removed within 30 days notice by the city receipt if the city and the DRC both consult. And then you have it done in that time frame. That way it can stay open a little bit longer if it's lasting. Rather than Kelly's point, artificially taking it down. It probably has maybe a few more months or whatever.
It certainly could.
Useful life. We
Certainly
could do
could.
something like that.
This then we should be in
I was gonna say, I think we need to amend that.
Yeah.
We're adding that 30-day removal.
I make a motion to amend it based on the wording provided by
30 days.
Director Rooney.
The start date we'll use in the literature that we gave this one. September.
Any further questions or comments from committee members? Seeing none, we have a motion with second on the floor with an amendment now. And the seconder approve the amendment?
Yes.
Okay. Then, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, I'm excited to share it all with the city. It's gonna be fun. Thank you. Thank you all together now.
Next item is 0734-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Tom Mobeck, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Services, close off Monument Square Drive from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. on October 19th, 2024 for the annual Monument Mass. Excuse me. May I read what the staff recommend in case we have some people watching that don't have the agenda in front of them? So I will just read that staff recommendation that the closure be approved for Parks, Recreation and Cultural Service requests and for the attached stipulations.
Which are the ones that I read?
Yeah.
You got the same.
So I would move to approve.
There's a second?
Second.
Motion approved. Is there any discussion? Questions? Saying,
Did you have a speech or you just gave a question?
That's really not my area of expertise. I just got the, all that. Parks is gonna handle all with notifications and barricades.
okay,
And it's an event volunteer that Parks is.
I was gonna say if they've been here.
It's like a Halloween party where, but they want to close down Trent Sky on Union Square Drive.
The monster man.
Yeah, like my kids don't do that, you know? Okay, well, yes.
All right. Any comments at all? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. The next item on our agenda is 0730-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Services, submitting bid results for contract 024179 Michigan Pathway Drainage Upgrade. Staff recommendation, the contract 20244179 Michigan Pathway Drainage Upgrade be awarded to A.W. Oaks and Son, Inc. in the amount of $155,770, they being the lowest responsive bidder. Physical note funding is available in Port Ops 45050 57110 land improvement. Mrs. Boucher.
Yeah, Madam Chair, that was the next one. If you want to cover that one now, and we can go back, but I think you skipped over the item for list on the. What's the museum?
Let's cover this one.
Then go back.
Sure. Don't have to read it twice that.
I noticed he was looking at me and I was like, okay, all right, my apologies. So, we want to discuss item, what, 0730-24?
The one we went to 73120.
So did you have any comments? Mr. Boucher?
No, this is just the project that we have put in place to fix the overflow on the zoo pathway, the Michigan pathway behind the zoo.
Okay,
So this is gonna take care of any issues that we have with that.
Move to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion was, approved. I oppose, the motion passes. Thank you. Item 0730-24. The next item on the agenda is 0731-24. Communications sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Park Recreation and Cultural Services, submitting bid results for contract 202-4075, Woodson Museum Restoration. Staff recommendation to the Public Works and Service Committee that this be received and filed. Mr. March.
This is the fourth time we put it through and we made changes to the bids, taking less off, trying to get it affordable. And the two bids we got, we are not happy with, and we think they're too expensive. Some of the work has to be done. So Mr. Moldick is planning on meeting with finance and trying to come up with alternative solutions to get this work done. So we hear about that in the future.
What are Stephen filed?
I do have a question. So, I remember because this has come before the committee a couple of times, and I know a lot of it was like kind of the facade outside of it that need to be updated. And so is it just because maybe it's the time of the year that the bids go out, that's why it came in that high, or is it just because of the delicacies of the work? That's why it's coming in that high?
There's a lot of machinery because they need a high range lift to get at a lot of it, to get over the bushes and all the landscaping that's out there and everything. So that's coming in higher partially because of that reason. It's a smaller job, so a lot of the bigger companies don't want to deal with it, you know what I'm saying? And they throw in a higher price, so if they get it, obviously they make it worth their time. So I had one contract I was working with that was smaller, but $100,000, and then P was in there. He said it was feasible for this company to go through all the extra bookkeeping that the company, so that kind of thing. It's just work it.
Yeah.
Other than that, the works, there's holes in the socket, the words are flying in, so it has to get done. So I believe Mr. Molbeck talked to finance, I think Kathleen, and they're gonna come up with some plan of attack, and whether it's because it's Worcester has their separate account things or something. So I'm not familiar with how they work that, but they're gonna come up with some kind of plan of attack so we can get this done somehow. So.
We're gonna try to get it done before the year end.
We're gonna try.
Winter